Hello, this is Victor, and I'm doing this video because I had the possibility to have in my hands the rules for the new Harlequins and the Solitaire, and I just decided to do some math hammer to see how to compare this unit to other units that I analyzed up to now to see what is this how they will perform compared to other units and understand if these units are going to be a big change or not in the meta, and to understand a little bit more how we are going to see these Harlequins on the battlefield. So in that video I will explain a little bit the rules, and I will use the rules that I have to do the math hammer and check the different options that I normally check and the different sections for the Harlequins and the Solitaire. So these are the units that I'm going to review. I'm going to review units of 10 Harlequins, what are composed of 9 players plus 1 troop master, and I will compare the 3 options that we have for close combat weapons, and we suppose that all Harlequins are equipped in the same way. So the first unit is Harlequins, basic as they come. I will explain a little bit what is the equipment they have. They have Holo Suite that is giving 5 plus invulnerable safe. They have a shuriken pistol, close combat weapon, plasma grenades, and flip belt. And the flip belt have the rules move through cover. They don't suffer any penalty for moving through difficult terrain, and they don't suffer any penalty through because to initiative when charging through difficult terrain. So I don't know why they have a plasma grenades. Maybe if you want to throw a plasma grenades in a moment of the battle, but the flip belt is giving all the advantages you need to assault and don't lose initiative. What is one of the main keys, or is one of the main points on Elder, is try to keep the initiative to be able to hurt your enemy before they counterattack to you. They have Fear special rule, Fleet, Furious Charge, and Hit and Run. So I think they are very, as you can see, very focused on close combat. The basic unit is composed of 5, and you can add up to 7 additional Harlequins by 15 points per Harlequin. You also can have 1 Harlequin with Neuro Disruptor and 1 Harlequin with Fusion Pistol. I didn't take into account this equipment. I wanted to focus on the close combat weapons. And then we have 3 types of close combat weapons. The Harlequin Embrace, that what it does is that is giving Hammer of Wrath. These 3, so 1 dice of 3 Hammer of Wrath attacks of strength 6. So it's quite a strong Hammer of Wrath. Harlequin Kiss, that is allowing to do 1 attack in close combat at the strength 6 AP2. And the Harlequin Carice, if you roll a 6, when wounding, it's considered to have a AP2 and is wounding independently of the toughness of your enemy. So you will always wound on 6 and will cause an AP2 hit wound. Then the Troop Master can have a power shot. I don't see why. I prefer to use one of the basic weapons. And then the Troop can also have high-wear grenades. But if you have in the Harlequin Carice, and I forgot to explain before, Harlequin Carice are also doing glancing hits on 6s. So the high-wear is good to have one attack that it's removing hull point on 2+, but take into account that Harlequin Carice will remove hull points from your opponent, will do glancing hits, glancing damage to vehicle on 6s. The Trupe can have enigmas from the Black Library. I don't know what is there. I cannot tell you what are the different equipment that we have there, as the relics for the Harlequins. And then the unit can have also a dedicated transport that is not in the rules that I have. What else? If you will look, the Solitaire have weapon and ballistic skill 9, strength 3, and toughness 3, 3 wounds, initiative 10, 6 attacks, and leadership 10. Have an Holo Suite, Harlequin Carice, and Harlequin Kiss, and have the Flip Belt. And then have Deep Strike special rule, have Eternal Warrior, is causing fear, is fearless, is fleet, furious charge, hit and run, and precision strikes. And all these things, he has a lot of special rules. He's moving 12 in the movement. He has 3+ invulnerable save. what is making him strong. He cannot take if he's a warlord, cannot take warlord traits, and he have a blitz. So once per turn you roll a d6, and then once per battle, sorry, you can roll a d6. If your roll is equal or below the turn that you add in this roll to the movement, and he will have also 10 attacks in close combat. Although he has 6 plus having 2 close combat weapons, he has 7 normally. Plus assaulting, he will have 8 attacks at the assault. Okay, it's not bad for an character. He is not character, so he cannot. He's character, sorry, but he is not independent character. What I mean is he cannot join any unit, and they have the rule that nobody can join him. So based on the stats that you have seen before, I will go to the shooting. Of course, the solitaire will not have any shooting. It's completely dedicated close combat, and I will see how strong is in close combat. Here I do the shooting. I compare the shooting. They have a little bit of shooting with the shuriken pistols. Of course, it's short range, but if you compare to other units, his shooting is not the strength. I will go very fast just to show you the stats. So you see, they also can do some damage to heavy infantry. Here they have the benefit that the shuriken pistol have AP2 when throwing 6s to wound. So this is also taken into account in my stats. Also again shooting monsters creatures, but as you can see, other units that have more shooting are going to be better. So Harlequins, the shooting is just to do some damage before assaulting, and maybe sometimes you are not interested in doing that. So the pistol means more to have an additional attack. Here we have also the same for monsters. They can do some damage, but it's not the ability they have. It's not the purpose of the Harlequin. They also can shoot 2 vehicles. The shuriken pistol have strength, and this is why I consider that I will not use the fusion pistol or the other pistol that you can put in equipment, as you only can equip. I think if I'm not wrong, you only any model can replace. So if you want to do really a shooting, but then it's going to be extremely expensive. I think more oriented to close combat. Okay, I will do another review to see how the shooting, if they deserve. All of them can change the shuriken pistols. Sorry, I read this wrongly when I was doing the analysis. By all of them can replace the shuriken pistol by a neuro disruptor or a fusion pistol. So they can be, if you want, a heavily anti-tank with 10 fusion pistols there, but you pay 15 per model, so it's going to be 30 points per model. A lot of points I consider for a unit that the only save they have is the 5 plus invulnerable saves plus the cover that is going to be between 5 or 4 plus. The Neuro Disruptor is interesting, but it's also costing 10 points. I think if you want to add a couple, the Neuro Disruptor is a new weapon, have range 12, is strength 1, AP2, but it's Fleshbane. So you always want them to and have AP2. So this can be super strong against monsters and heavy infantry, because you will overcome any toughness and any armor. So if you want, also Harlequins can be very, very, very strong at shooting. I will do maybe later on another comparison with the shooting, but you have to take into account that you are going to pay a lot of points for the shooting, and you will pay about 30 points per Harlequin, and they are going to be very easy to kill. This is why I was considering them more as a close combat unit, where you take the benefit. You can add a couple of or some pistols and use another to as a barrier. I will check later on how much. Sorry, I apologize. First, I was concerned that only one model can replace the shuriken pistol, but any model can replace the shuriken pistol. I think Harlequin is going to be one of these units that you have to be very careful on how much you invest the points, and how much and how to avoid to have too many points on a elder that at the end is very fragile with the 5 plus, unless you find a way to boost them with invisibility or something similar. So let's continue with the analysis of these units. Remember, I'm analyzing the close combat units, and maybe later on I will do the analysis if I want to make them as a shooting unit. Shooting against vehicles, of course, I have shuriken pistols that are going to be super strong. and the same against flyers. So these units are focused on close combat. So total shooting is, as they have only shooting and pistols, are going to be below the units that they have here in the list. Let's go to resistance, and here it's important to check. So you see they resist quite well heavy weapons, but they are going to be very fragile against normal weapons, against compared to other units. So of course they will resist better a ball gun than a heavy bolter, but as if you compare to the resistance of the incubi or the resistance of other units for the points you pay, they are not the most resistant unit in the here. So they are quite easy to damage, strength, toughness 3, and the 5+ invulnerable save. We've got to take here into account. Normally in that analysis, I don't take into account the boosters. What that means that normally the Harlequins will need or some support, or psychic support to boost their defense, or maybe in the transport, and we need to check. I expect that the transport is going to be similar to the Dark Elder transports. I think it's going to be a mistake that the Harlequins have, like the Serpents. I expect more that they will have open top transport vehicles. If we keep looking, now we go where they are very strong, and this is on the melee attacks. In melee, there is where the Harlequins excel, and if you see the comparison to other units, and in that case, I use the Incubi as a comparison because I think it's the one of the most strongest units in close combat. We see that the Harlequins are at the same level or better than the Incubi, depending on the configuration. The keys, the Harlequin's keys seems to be the strongest weapon in melee. The Caress, you will see that is the more flexible weapon. It's not as strong as the keys, statistically speaking, against infantry, but they will be a very good option also to damage vehicles. So, and the brass, it will depend a lot on how many miniatures you can put in contact. And brass is giving you the Hammer of Wrath strength 6. If here I consider that 5, as average 5 of the Harlequins will be in contact when you charge at the turn at the initiative point 10. Remember that you don't have you cannot move at the initiative 10 when you do the Hammer of Wrath. You only can do Hammer of Wrath with the miniatures that are in contact with the opponent. So they're going to be very strong in close combat. They will almost eliminate from the battlefield any unit. Even Terminators, or they will be, they are very scary in close combat. When I was looking at the stats, you see they are at the same level of the Incubi. Okay, even the basic ones, if you see the basic ones without any special equipment, they will be as strong normally as witches. And here is where I think that the Harlequins need to be equipped. The equipment really makes them stronger. Unless you, and here I don't say that you have to put the 10 of them with equipment. Maybe you have to keep 3 without any type of equipment in order to absorb the shooting from your enemy. But the equipment is adding value, as well as the pistols. I need to check later on to see if they add value. The Solitaire, they are not super. He's not super strong. We have to consider that the Solitaire is just one guy with 3 wounds, although he can do 8 attacks when assaulting. But for a guy that goes alone, is quite strong. If you compare to the Dread Knight, it's almost at the same level of the Dread Knight. He's doing more damage than the Dread Knight. The point is the Dread Knight can resist more than him. He has the 3+ invulnerable, so it's in close combat. It's comparable to a Dread Knight, and it is quite scary for a guy. The problem I see on the Solitaire is just 3 wounds on 3+ invulnerable save, and that cannot join any unit. Okay, so and then here we can see is how they perform against vehicles, and you can see that the Caress, the Harlequin's Caress, it's a very nice weapon against vehicles. They will do quite damage. And the brass, yeah, against light vehicles is going to be quite dangerous. So you can do these 3 hits per Harlequin that is in contact with the vehicle is going to be quite scary. Watch out. I also take into account that they have Furious Charge, so the attacks will have strength 4 against light vehicles. The watch out I want to share with you is the Hammer of Wraith is, I think, is attacking the armor that you are facing when assaulting. On the other side, all the other attacks will attack the back armor. And this here I cannot consider this point because I consider just how good is the weapon to damage the armor. But normally the caress is going to be more efficient because they will most of the times go against armor 10 than in the case of the Hammer of Wrath. So very strong unit in close combat. They can deal with vehicles and they can deal with any type of unit in close combat. If we compare to another units like Terminators, we see that the Terminators are also very good in against vehicles. They can also, but they are not as good as the Harlequins against infantry. The Incubi, in some cases, depending on the configuration, are stronger against infantry than the Harlequins, but they don't have anything to deal with vehicles. So I think in that way, Harlequins are very compensated. They are super strong against infantry, and they are going to be also quite dangerous against vehicles in close combat. So I like them, but you have to be careful. They are very fragile. Only invulnerable of 5. They make them strong against heavy weapons, but they make them very fragile against normal weapons like glass guns, ball guns, and all any basic weapons that all the armies use. So let's go to conclusions. So my conclusions here is they are a good close combat unit that is very fragile to common weapons, and they will die easily under saturation of fire. So this is the point that you have to be careful. Is it worth to invest in the points in the equipment? As you see, they are boosting the efficiency in close combat, and the different equipment will change a little bit specialization between flexibility. The keys is more focused to heavy infantry, and then we have the caress that it works against almost everything, but it's a little bit more expensive. And then we have the one with Hammer of Wrath that is working very, very well against light infantry and against vehicles, light vehicles. So depending on you can use combination of all them because any model can be equipped as you want. So they can have one of the special weapons, shooting weapons, and they can have at the same time one of the special close combat. So very flexible unit, a lot of equipment, but be careful, don't be crazy, and because if you start spending a lot of points, you can easily go to 300 points for 10 Harlequins, and I think this is not the case that you want. You don't want to spend 30 points per miniature on a miniature that is that if it's won, normally is dying 2/3 of the times, and it's very easy to wound because they have only toughness 3. The Solitaire is also a good option. It's very flexible. You see, also can damage vehicles with the caress and the strength 6 attack and the caress that is always glancing on 6s. I think it's also quite a solid unit. It's like for me it's like the assassins from the Officius Assassinorum, from the Inquisition. The main problem is they have to go alone, and then in that case I will say the Solitaire is much better because have Eternal Warrior rule that is guaranteed that it's not going to die by a strength 6 or higher weapon. So this is my review. I just want to share with you what I learned about the Harlequins, and maybe I will do another review for the weapons, although I think you should not use more than 3 or 4 weapons per unit. Special weapons are limited on shooting. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Please leave your comment below. And thanks a lot for watching and see you again later. Bye.